All right, people. We are waiting for my internet to catch up. My laptop is slow today. Time to upgrade. Today I will be working on my defense, my criminal defense case, which my court date is on August 5th. Nine, 2, 3, my favorite time of the day. All right. GP court, criminal court actually. What is my defense? What is my defense, you ask? All right, people. So, ultimately, I got quite a few things going on right now. Like this whole one thing, I got the cops called on me for for refusing to leave a property. Then the cops got there. The cops offered me to leave the property. I said, no, I think I'm allowed to be here. And I'd rather like have my day in court than just willfully walk away. So either the cops and this guy can willfully walk away. Otherwise, you're going to have to arrest me. And they decided to arrest me. And so I willfully went to jail. This was a Sunday at like 2 p.m. And by Monday at 10 a.m., the judge got in and heard my case, and I pled not guilty. And not heard my case, just I pled not guilty and said, okay, we'll see you. Give him a court date. We'll see him soon. But it's a lot more than that happened. But that's like the quick version of what happened. But now I got countersuits against the Tempe police. I got countersuits against the Tempe Criminal Justice Department. And then I got countersuits against the LDS Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Which I am a member of, actually. But that's not what's important at the moment. What's important is that we're going to talk about my defense. And also, like, my mentality and, like, first let's talk from a legal perspective. So just so you know, in this case, I will be doing 100% self-representation. So yesterday, I went back to where I was arrested, and basically there's 3 levels on this building. The first level was the police department, the second level was the courthouse, and the third level was the prosecutors. And basically, I went from the first house to first level, second level, third level, second level, third level, first level, and then I left to get all the documents that I needed and all the understanding that I needed. And so I'm very comfortable with where I'm at right now and what I need to do. And ain't nothing I need a lawyer for at the moment, so I'm happy about that. Basically, I got 3 assignments right now. One of them has a 10-day deadline. The other ones, there really is no deadline, but I just want to get them done as soon as possible. I got to write my complaint against the police department. So I actually got to like make the complaint against the officer, but then I can say the officer's not at fault and it's more the policies he's enforced to uphold. And then I got to write a complaint against the city through the city clerk's office. And as soon as I do that, then I can actually get my day in court to countersue all these mother effers. And then I'll also have to write a complaint against the LDS Church, obviously. And so that is kind of where my legal head's at right now. But I do have a 10-day deadline right now, and that's what I want to focus this video on. And I want to basically finish whatever my 10-day deadline is. I want to finish it on this video and show you guys how everything that I do, I literally, my entire video, we can prove this by if you're a heavy follower, watcher of my channel, you will know that I talk about things for a long time, and then all of a sudden at a moment I just throw it on the screen really fast, maybe a little confusing, but to me it makes sense, and that's all that really matters to me. Like, I know that if someone's as far along as I am, it should make perfect sense to them, and I'm not trying to teach the babies here. And so if someone's got questions, I always answer questions, but that's where, so I have trouble working for money. I've made lots of money. I've worked and made lots of money for my work. But if I'm only working for the money and it's just check in, check out to pay my bills, it hurts my soul to do that every day. I can do it for a month. I can do it for a year. But eventually I start to get a little crazy because I just can't live my life that way. And so it used to be I got crazy in a bad way, but now it's turned into I got crazy where I just chased opportunity. And eventually I found so much opportunity that money became easy, and then it became about chasing the opportunity. And then I started getting all these skills because I started seeing things I wanted to do. And so I'm just this man of many trades, you'd say. I can do basic coding. I can do basic website building. I can build a roof. I can do a lot of handyman stuff. I can do granite countertops. I can do shower surrounds. I've done a lot of stuff, but I've never been to college. I never learned anything the right way. I only learned by getting a job and being a helper and saying, I'll be your best helper until I learn how to do what you do. Everything in my life is that. And then eventually I got to where I could build my own company from it. And so my defense, let's get back to the defense. Here's the thing. I'm going to go in, and I'm going into every single possibility it's my last chance, and I'm not going to get another chance. So basically, I'm going to bring everything to the table on this 10-day limit. So what is my 10-day limit? What is the 10 days I have? Basically, I have 10 days to classify any people, any places, any videos, any links, any pictures, any audio, any, what else? Any witnesses, anything that I want to talk about inside the courtroom, I need to put on paper in this 10 days. That's what it's saying. Anything I dare to mention inside that courtroom better have been somewhat relevant on the disclosure that I released before being spoken about in the court. So that is what I intend to do right now. Because here's one thing that I wanted to focus on. The Bible. When I read the Bible, the number one message I got from the Bible, and it's a thing that I've actually lived my life by, and which actually kind of relates back to what I was talking about earlier about how I just talk about something and then I throw it all on paper. It's the number one thing that I learned in the Bible was don't prepare. God's always ready for any moment. And so if you don't have the answers, then it's because you're not ready for the moment. And you just need to keep thinking and keep researching and keep doing whatever feels right until what you were thinking about last time feels right again. And you ain't ready for it, is basically the way I understand it. And so when I go to this court case, I'm going to have everything big picture plotted out for you guys so you guys can understand how to think. Of course, you guys would probably be better off. I mean, until you can get thinking like I do, you'd probably be better off. Maybe, I don't know, actually. Maybe it'd be better to just jump in like I do. I don't know. I was going to say maybe it's better for you guys to prepare like you're used to, but maybe not because people think that's fake. When the jury hears me talk, they're like, damn, this person's real. Damn, this person's cool. Juries love me. Juries love me. Oh, man. Every lawyer I've ever talked to always tries to tell me that the jury's might not love me. And then finally I got myself in front of a jury and, oh man, you better believe they loved me. You better believe they loved me. Alright. But, here's the deal. Because I am not going to have everything completely planned out. And basically, I'm shooting from the hip inside the courtroom, and I'm self-representing 100% of the time. Like, a lot of people be like, damn, that's risky. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure. But because I'm doing that, and because it's real, and because I can prove it through my YouTube, like, that's who I am, I'm going head, like, feet first, diving first, all of it, as this court case, this defense is that I am Jesus Christ, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is my church, my house, and if either of us had the right to kick someone off the property, it was me, and that's my main defense. And then I'm going to have a secondary defense that says, if I'm wrong about me being Jesus Christ, which I'm going to try to prove to you, and I'm going to include everything in my YouTube channels, everything in my entire life. I'm going to expose all the good, all the bad. Like, I'm prepared to make this, unload every dirty laundry of Marcus Ray, which is some pretty bad shit, and then also all the good shit. And I'm going to subpoena every person that's ever been involved in my life that's seen it. And I'm going to have 100 people speak to my witness or my character. And there'll be 50 good people. No, probably 75 good people and 25 people that just rag into me and say I'm a piece of trash. But you know what? The jury's going to love me. Oh, man. So, my first defense, that's what I'm going to go for. The judge might throw that out and might be like, no, that's crazy. I want you to be diagnosed for mental health issues. And if they do that, you better believe a mother of all lawsuits is coming. Like, right now, I already got them. But if they try to fucking, like, delay and, like, accuse me of being anything other than perfectly sane, there's gonna be issues. Whoo! And I feel like an army will rise for me on that one. Like, oh, you would not believe what would happen on that one. You can't hide that kind of news. You can't hide it. After this Britney shit going on, if they try to conservative-ship me, it ain't gonna work. But that's my main goal. So I want basically my whole life, like when I go that, like I'm gonna write this up in a document, and then I'm gonna do that on the live stream too. I just want to talk it out first, but I'm gonna write it up in a document, and then I'm gonna go down to the prosecutor's office, and I'm gonna make him read the whole, like I'm gonna read the whole thing to him. I'm gonna ask, well, actually, first I'm gonna ask for his case against me. Then I'm gonna come back and read the whole thing to him, and then let's see what he's got to say, because he can only have a couple reactions, right? He's either going to have a reaction where he goes like, oh, good luck, buddy, you crazy, and we about to nail you to the wall, and like think he's better than me, and like, man, if that's the case, like we're just going to win, and it's going to be easy, because it's clearly he's mentally handicapped. It's clear he doesn't understand how the real people think. He doesn't understand how 12 random people actually think. I do. I understand. And so if he has that attitude, I'll laugh and be happy. If he has the attitude of, wow, why did this guy call the cops? This guy identified himself when they knew, like, there's no reason this thing had to escalate the way that it has. And it's clear that the law is not very nuanced to handle situations where two people feel like they are actually justified to be in the same spot. And maybe we get some new case law and they just drop the charges. And basically, and so he could have that attitude, but then basically he's got to give me something. Like if he just wants me to like walk away and say, can we just drop the charges? Like obviously I'm not walking away for free. Like what you got? Because I got other issues with this guy already. And let me tell you about my countersuits in the next video, and you're going to be appalled by what you hear about what they're doing to force people into probation so they're not getting jail time, but they're not ready to get released on the street and get on probation. So when they mess up the next time, they get twice as much jail time because this time they messed up while under probation. The whole system is fucked and designed to make us hate you when you fucking step on us. Oh man, and I've been getting stepped on purpose just to come back for the babies. Because I'm the only one willing to do it. Oh, isn't it wonderful? What up, man? Is it? That's good. I mean, it's gone green and red all day, so I just stopped watching, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's gonna happen either this week or next week. I like to bet around the holidays. I bet on Tesla too, for sure. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, it could totally go higher if they're like if everything like. Here's the thing, in my opinion, whatever great financial thing's gonna happen, like AMC could go up 100% because they got to relieve pressure, and you can make 10 to 100x on your money depending on what options you're in, right? So AMC, like, there's opportunity. Can you time it right? Like maybe, maybe not. If you don't, you lose your money, right? And so AMC is one thing, but then like the whole other thing is another thing. And so like if Tesla goes to the moon right now, everything else is crashing. Tesla options pay way too much money not to crash everything else. But when I say everything else is crashing, not everything else that's diamond handed. So like if the GMEers don't sell, like they're gonna at least remain where they stand. If AMCers don't sell, they're gonna at least remain where they stand. And so, but everything else, there is no diamond handers, and so it's all gonna crash to zero. Everything else, like AMC, people aren't over leveraged in AMC, but Bitcoin, everyone's at 300% margin rates. And so, like, as soon as one person starts cashing, it's just going to collapse. Like, AMC and GME, I feel like, are the only things that wouldn't crash if Tesla goes to the moon. But Tesla and Amazon can destroy everything right now, for sure. The options are ridiculous. So, if you think those might go up, you should definitely buy some of those options. For sure. I hear you. I think AMC's gonna make money, so hopefully AMC does that. Like, hopefully AMC sends everything to zero. Like, that's the real goal. But man, I've lost a lot of faith in the AMCers. That's for sure. Well, I mean, they held on. It's not that didn't bother me. It's that we've had the answers to beat them for 6 months, and everyone came here and they all left because they can't handle a little bad attitude. So fuck them. All right, later, dude. Shit. Um. Gosh. Okay. So we understand my main argument, my main defense, and this is why I don't get viewers, people. So the reason I don't get viewers is because every other YouTuber on the planet does everything I do on my YouTube behind the scenes, and then they mark it all up in 15 to 30 minutes and then give it to you. I don't do that. I show you guys how I create it. Like, you guys can't ask me how I do what I do when I do it in front of you. The fuck you talking about? How do I do it? Everything I do right in front of you 100% of the time. I'm never in the lab working on something. It's always live. I'm never practicing. The only way I practice is up here. This is the only place I practice. And it's all based off experience I've lived through. And sometimes that experience ain't enough to give me the right answer. And I learned something new. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm the only one learning. Alright. So, my defense. I am Jesus Christ. That is my home. That is my church. I am a member of the church. I have the right to be at that church during church hours. And he started accusing me as a person that's not a bishop would do. And he claimed to be a bishop. At no time did he actually prove he was a bishop or anything of the sort. And so, after he became accusatory, I got mouthy. He took a picture of my license plate. I took a picture of his license plate. He called the cops. End of story. There was no more communication between him and I, basically. I mean, I told him I was Jesus, and then he called the cops. I told him I was Jesus, and then fire went in his eyes of hatred. And then he called the cops, pulled out his weapon of his cell phone. Mr. Police, I got a crazy man here. We're going to get the phone call to hear what he said. I sure hope he talked about me being Jesus. I sure hope he did. I sure hope he did. Because it's real life. So, in this grand world where I try to convince the jury that I am Jesus, that's my main defense, which is why I was allowed to be on my property, because it is my property. All churches on this earth are mine, ideally, hopefully one day. But let's think about this for a second. That's my main defense. If that's my main defense, if they arrested me on my own property, if the jury agrees with me and decides to give me the W, and like we create new law, I mean, even as little as creating new law is the W. Of creating the church has to do X, Y, and Z to sustain that X, Y, and Z has rights to this property, and it can no longer be an unnuanced thing because you guys can't act like adults and handle your own problems. Because you guys had to call the cops to handle your problems, and because there's no law on the books to figure out who's actually right or wrong in this, and because the jury agreed a little bit more with the guy rather than the prosecutor, then we're going to add new law that fixes this problem somehow. If even that little happens, the W's mine. I won. But outside of that, if I win the idea of them agreeing I might actually be or am Jesus Christ, it's more than probable I am Jesus Christ, I'm going to let them know a simple little thing. I've told my dad since I was 23 and I knew about the life insurance stuff, and I could beat Warren Buffett's investments, that I could fix this world with $50 million and I could change everything. And my dad laughed in my face saying, I know 5 people that got $50 million. $50 million don't get you nowhere. I was like, Dad, these people don't know anything. I'm the only one that knows how to use money and like actually do something with it. Then all of a sudden, like that's back in life insurance. Then I do my roofing business. I get my hands on a couple $1 million. Then I get into the options market. I lose $500,000, which was all my monies. And then from there, I master the options. But now I don't need more than $5 million, and I could do it all. $5 million, and everything I thought I could do with like the same thing of fix the world all in a second with $50 million just because I could start a bank and a life insurance company all in one at the exact same time and create this awesome retirement, banking, debit card, credit card, sweet mother effing thing you never seen before. And now with $5 million, I can literally just dump it into one stock in an option bucket, and it would send the gamma potential so high that the whole world would have to invest. Otherwise, they would just be cutting off their own foot because everyone would know that thing's about to pop. It's like when the short interest on GameStop was 140%. That's what this is, but better, because people like gamma squeezes more than they like short squeezes. $5 million on the right stock, and you can literally send every stock to zero and your stock to infinity in one day. Cash out $1 trillion in one day. And so I'm gonna tell them that, and then I'm gonna tell them $1 million, and you get my girl happy. You let me go back to work on my YouTube, spreading the gospel, and then you also let me take care of all my past businesses of anyone that thinks I may owe them money plus a profit. So basically they'll either give me the 50 million, the 5 million, the 1 million, or nothing and just the case law. But even if I only get the case law, then I'm gonna get, guess what? Even if I only get the case law, I'm gonna get 1 million YouTube subscribers if I can show people how to self-represent, not pay $1 to go to court and make them look like jackasses when you know you're right. When you know they're just having a bad day and trying to take it out on you because they think they can, but they can't. This is America. America! Alrighty, let's get started on the document that I will be presenting to the D-bag. I really, like, this part doesn't even entertain me. I really want to focus on the countersuits, but I got 10 days, so I got to focus on this one. Alright. $10-day deadline attempt at full disclosure I my criminal defense. Fortunately, no matter how small criminal crime, because it is criminal, because Tempe court system had describe potentially severe, life-threatening would quite serious objection all in any the about to provide take serious objection to all. Okay, I'll take serious objection if any this irrelevant information attempted be dismissed from our proceedings. Sounds coherent enough, which is all I ever care about. I ain't trying to fucking slave for perfection for you bitches. I know exactly what I owe you. I'm like the only person in the world that can freaking sound like Eminem, but then walk into a courtroom and talk like a perfect proper Mormon. Like, you guys don't know what you were prepared for. I'm the only one you can't stop. All right. My defense is a multifaceted defense where I understand how a simple mind sees some things I say as irrational, dangerous, or insane. However, even a simple mind cannot deny truth and justice. I can only be properly given my day and my own proper defense by giving my defense in full. Unless, of course, at any time the prosecutor wants to drop all charges, offer up new legal terms to trespassing that can better preemptively stop this arrest from occurring. My greatest defense, my defenses, the first defense I'll be taking, first and strongest defense I'll be taking, to my last least applicable defense. Number one, I'm Jesus, bitch. Number two, I'm a member of the church. And actually, by their rules, a member of their ward boundaries. Meaning, I have, on Sundays, been told I cannot be at the church that was not in my boundaries because it appeared people were trying to find prettier girls, etc., by going to different churches. So basically people just followed their friends and like it didn't matter. It was all about the parties and like Mormons my age and younger are freaking clowns. Clowns. Hypocrite clowns. They're the worst of the worst. Don't trust the active Mormons that are my age or younger. I mean, if they're still on a mission, they're probably good people. But after the mission, like the next 10 years, they become the worst people you can meet. Not all of them. But the ones that are like older than me, most of them, like the ones that went on a mission and still with the church, those are the people that will literally, they work every day, back-breaking work, pay for their family, and keep their family happy, have lots of kids, take their families on as many vacations as they can. Like, it's an honorable life, right? Like, obviously, felt like I had a higher calling or something, but, like, for a moment, I thought that was what I was going to do. So, but the idea is, the precedent stands that I was allowed to be at that church above all others. And the lady officer on the body cam clearly states, I can go to any church but that one. This is a perfect example of church law not matching legal law, and for the church to call the cops when they have other measures for active members is a sin and non-Christ-like on his part. At no time did he prove he was who he claimed to be. From the first thing he said, he was accusatory. And at no point should any normal member respond this member with respect or treat him as if he had authority. For that is not what the church teaches. Third, the church has a simple way to deal with kids that get mouthy, that care about their membership. Many get excommunicated, and I have done many things that deserved me to be, but because I've done good, because the ones in charge to make that call knew my good and bad, they always let me stay in the church. No matter how many bad things they heard me say about it. 4. For 18 years, I spent my Saturdays in the service, my fellow men, putting up flags for my church members on holidays at their houses, mowing lawns, helping with Eagle projects, and moving hundreds of people in the name of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I have been employed by the church to clean the buildings, build the steeples on top of buildings, do fence work and landscaping work. My family has not only, my family and myself, has not only been paying the 7 figures over 100 years of paying tithing, fast offerings, has also worked off seven figures of annual labor is Ray Brothers construction for the church. Also, to top it off, the church has openly proven my brother they owed him $10K from a past job because my brother forgot to bill. They said it's been too long and it's now the church's money. To top off giving the church my everything, they have stolen from us too. And that's not including the many 6 figures stolen by everyday church members. The scams that run through the churches promising money. 5th and final defense, witness testimony. Of my YouTube proves it. My YouTube. Okay, I want him to actually read this. I'm Jesus. The churches are mine. My YouTube is proof. And I believe if I am allowed every minute I choose my YouTube from the start of this year, 2021, math, science, logic, and reason to justify I am the Son of God. Boom! Witness testimony of anyone ever worked with me, for me, been a client, Paid by me. My family, friends, anyone else that claims to know, comes forward, knows something about me. For I want to tell my story and then let people own 1,000 ways. Their own stories, good and bad. And bad about me. Well, at the end of the day, they give the jury the closest to the truth of who I am, and end it my fiance, depending on the day. Depending on is breaking up with me or giving me one more chance. Alrighty. That is my defense, people. That is what I am taking to the courthouse. Let me read it to you one time. Defense! Defense! Alright. I'm going to walk into the prosecutor office and I'm going to say, hello, Mr. Prosecutor. Would like to have a conversation about the 10-day deadline and getting our discovery discovered in the 10-day discovery time. And I'd like to do it face to face. How do you feel? They're going to say yes or no. And I'll come back if they want to schedule a time. I'll absolutely schedule a time. But assuming he schedules it and assuming we sit down, I will say, I'll say, okay, here is my defense. And actually, first I'm going to ask for his defense, or his prosecution, his case, his criminal case against me. And I expect to know, like, whatever you got to tell a lawyer, you got to tell me. And then, after that, I'm like, okay, now listen to what I'm about to put you through court in. And you do what you got to do, bro. But this is how I feel about it. This is what I want to tell the judge. I feel like we should go have this conversation with the judge well before August 5th. And I would like to start getting a calendar so I can prepare my testimonies, my witness testimonies, and make sure that this shit goes smoothly and we don't have any delays and we don't have any continuums, and like this is going as fast as it has to. If anything comes up, obviously we're like, nothing's perfect. We can't stop a delay, but I'm going to stop every delay I can by being prepared. And I need preparation for my lawsuit, and it is my right to have preparation. And I will be here every day to talk to you, Mr. Prosecutor, if that's the only way I'll get my rights fulfilled. Does that make sense, people? And then I'm going to hit him with this. I will be attempting to include 100% of the information I think could be relevant to my criminal defense case. Unfortunately, no matter how small a criminal crime is, because it is a criminal crime, and because the Tempe court system has had me sign documents that describe my actions as potentially severe and life-threatening, I will take serious objection if any of this relevant information is attempted to be dismissed from our future proceedings as irrelevant. My defense is a multifaceted defense where I understand how a simple, because I understand how a simple mind could see some things I say as irrational, dangerous, or insane. I must insist However, so I must insist all my requests be granted. There we go. I can only be properly prepared. I can only be given properly. I can only properly be given my day in court and my own proper defense by giving my defense in full. Unless, of course, at any time the prosecutor wants to drop all charges and offer up new legal terms to the trespassing law that can better preemptively stop this arrest from occurring in the future. Then it is a matter of whether I agree to drop my case against you. My defense, and instead of you, I will say against the Tempe court system. My defense from the first and strongest, my defense starting from the first is the strongest defense. I'll be taking and each defense after is a less strong defense that is easier to comprehend. How, in the eyes of the law, of precedence, nuance, and reason, the church has set me up with expectations for failure, and they should in some way be punished for being the true cause of wasting everyone's time. 1. I am Jesus. The churches are mine. My YouTube is proof, and I believe that if I'm allowed to show every minute of my YouTube from the start of 2021, I will be able to use math, science, logic, and reason to justify I am the Son of God. Whew! That's a good defense right there, to be at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Number 2, I am a member of the church and actually by their rules a member of their ward boundaries, meaning I have on Sundays been told I cannot be at the church that was not in my boundaries because it appeared people were trying to find prettier girls, etc. Like in my age, if you're single, you go to young adult ward and basically it's all the single people trying to find someone to marry, and people will bounce from church to church looking for the right church rather than going to the church they live in. And the way the church works, you go to the church you live in or you don't go to church. They're tired of people looking like trying to like be choosy, and they don't think that's the way it's supposed to be. And so this is what we get, people. The precedent stands that I was allowed to be at the church above all others, and that the lady officer on the body cam clearly states that I can go to any church but that one. So I've been raised to understand that's the only church I'm allowed to be at as a member of my church in my ward boundaries. on a Sunday. Like other days, it's fine. You can go do Monday nights with anybody. But on Sundays, you got to be going to your church. Otherwise, they will get mad if they find out. And so, yeah, like for a cop to come tell me that I can go anywhere else, like, obviously, I know that to some extent, like, I'm just getting fake information from both sides. And that's why I believe 12 people will look at this and be like, damn, we got to at least change the law so this don't happen again. Like, this guy ain't wrong. Like, maybe he's making this a bigger deal than it has to be, and maybe we're not going to give him shit for it, but we'll change the fucking law so this don't got to happen no more. Like, he's not fucking wrong. The law that they arrested him for does not attempt to disclose anything about what's going on in this shit. So the precedent stands that I was allowed to be at that church above all. This is a perfect example of how the church law not matching legal law for the church to call the cops when they have other measures for active members is a sin and non-Christ-like on his part. And bishops are supposed to be held to a higher standard. At no time, I got to put that in. At no time did he prove he was who he claimed to be. For the first time, from the first he started talking, he was accusatory, and at no point should any normal member respond to this member with respect or treat as if he had authority, for that is not what the church teaches. And then defense number 3. The church is a simple way to deal with kids that get mouthy, that care about their membership. Many get excommunicated. And I have done many things that deserved me to be. But because I've done good and because the ones in charge to make the call knew my good and bad, they always let me stay in the church no matter how many bad things they heard me say about it, which I said things. Number 4, for 18 years, I spent my Saturdays in service of my fellow man, putting up flags for my church members on holidays at their houses, mowing lawns, helping the Eagle Projects, moving hundreds of peoples in the names of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My family, it was me and 4 of my brothers and the trailer and the truck that we always had at our house that would move somebody 3 miles down the road because they can't afford the place they're at no more. And we've done this shit so many fucking times. It didn't matter if you were a member, not a member. If you were in our ward boundaries, we were moving you. If you happen to know us, you called us if you were ever moving because we just didn't know how to say no. And it was always the church members asking. Oh, you better believe. Not always, but mostly. I have been employed by the church to clean the buildings, build the steeples on top of the buildings, do fence work and landscaping work. My family and myself have been paying 7 figures over 100, we'll just say 10 years. It's true. Between me and my immediate family, 7 figures within the last 10 years, paying tithing and fast offerings, but has also worked off 7 figures of annual labor as Ray Brothers Construction works for the church. They literally traveled the country and built steeples on churches all over the country. When I was like 14, I went to like some of the North Arizona churches and helped them during my summer job with them type thing. But like for 4 years, it's all they did, and they were making great money. But the only reason they get church jobs is because they come in half of anybody else. And my dad still, because they do the work, because they are the laborers of their own company, they make enough money. They make $200,000 a year working 60 hours a week. My dad leaves the house at 7 in the morning, gets home at 5 o'clock at night, and he's 70 years old. My dad still swings a fucking hammer. You guys got no idea how weak and soft you people are. I was raised by the strongest man on earth, and we gave it all to the church. I'm going to bring my brother on who now owns the company, and I'm going to bring him on the stand. I'm going to be like, hey, Danny, tell me the story that you told me 2 months ago about how the church told you that they owe you $10,000, but they basically pointed at your face and laughed at you for not billing them for it and said it's too late to bill for it and they don't owe it to you anymore. Literally saying, hey, bitch, you forgot the bill is $10,000. Fuck you, is what they said to my brother, knowing that they're still going to use him in the future. And like, what kind of shit is that? How is that Christ-like? Christ would never do that. Oh my goodness, this church is out of its mind right now. I'm about to give it a reality check. And then number 5 is literally anyone in my life that wants to come to this court case and give a witness testimony to who I am, what I'm about, who I be, like good or bad. Now is the time to unleash Marcus Ray's dirty laundry to the world. Let's go. Love me or hate me. Now is the time to pick. And I want to witness testimony anybody in my life. Everybody in my life. It matters. This is all about integrity. I'm assuming I might have to send it to the judge, or like I want to hear what the judge got to say. Oh, actually, I'm going to bring that up too. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Last thing. Because I am Jesus, and whether I am inheriting the LDS church or whether I'm starting my own religion, it is clear everything I'm doing, everything in my life is of God and of religious action. My message to the people: don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of failure, and never over prepare. With that said, I don't think. With that said, you need to that I don't prepare. Everything I do, I shoot from the hip. No matter what it is. Because it's my personality. Become a certain way. I really can't detach from example. I want to learn something. I'll fail until I'm good. No, I'll fail until I'm good. But once I get good, the only thing getting good at was money. I stopped doing it. Show people how to teach others how, but my brain can no longer think about it. Constantly, I master it. Also, I've discovered I perform better shooting by the hip. I am live on you. The camera on my face gives me security. I am prepared. Die for what I believe in, but don't mind dying. Long we know what really happen when I die. Only my YouTube. My phone. So, because is all by my religion, word from God. It's who I speak for. I am requesting full access anywhere in the city of Tempe outside of bathrooms. Chambers. Boom. I think I'm good with that. All right, I just wanted to leave a little note for the judge, talk about my YouTube and stuff. I think that's gonna work. Alrighty, any questions? That was fun. I'm done, people. I just built my defense. And they're gonna fucking cry when they fucking hear this shit. When they gotta prepare a case against me, God, they're gonna cry. They are not ready for this. Anybody think I got a good defense, or you guys think it's a joke? Well, since nobody's commenting, I guess it's just government spooks that are on my channel. John, I only got to have one good defense. I could say all those other four things. They could say this guy's a freaking idiot, and that one idea could make sense, and it can make my whole case. And as long as the one defense is true, like, it doesn't make sense not to swing for the fence. It would be stupid not to swing for the fence, especially when I have such a good case for every single level. It all builds a story, and it all proves I'm right, and, like, I ain't going to jail for this shit. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Now I can actually, I'm going to go talk to the prosecutor probably tomorrow. And then from there, I will start on my countersuits. I appreciate that, John. All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Hope you learned something. Defend yourself. You don't need a lawyer. Lawyers suck.